Hey, Mariah here. It's such a pleasure to have you back on the channel. So I switched up the background just a little bit today. But before we even get started in today's reading, I do want to get a formality out of the way. Unfortunately, I've been dealing with harassment from other YouTubers and also people in the comments, whether it's through the comment section, whether through email or DM, harassing me about my channel. One thing for certain and two things for sure, and I'm going to say this once. The name of my channel is Spiritually Honest. Emphasis on the honest tarot. If you don't like what I say, good, bad, or indifferent, my channel is not for you. There's so many other tarot readers, as we all know. You will find somebody that's for you. And if it's not me, that's okay. I send you love and on with your life. But the thing for certain, for sure, that I will not tolerate, and I've been so quiet about this, is harassment, is hate, and it is bullying. I'm the wrong woman for that. As a reformed woman, I'm a wrong woman for that. So I will tell you this, and I say this with the utmost respect. Go somewhere else. Go get a life. Go enjoy your life. It's a beautiful life. Go enjoy, make the most of your life. But don't come on my channel being miserable, putting that energy not only onto me, but also onto the viewership. I try my best and my damnedest to always not only protect my energy, but your energy too, you as a viewer, you watching this channel. I want to make sure that my channel is a safe space as always and as possible for anyone who watches this. And if anybody that goes against that through hate, through bullying, through harassment, you will be blocked. You will be reported. I'm low tolerant for BS. I'm low tolerant for that. And I try to keep this channel as very authentic as possible. Good energy and good vibes always. So if you're not with that, I'm just not for you. If you don't like the honest truth, go get somebody that's going to tell you what you want to hear. But here, the name of the game is honest, spiritually honest tarot. So with that out of the way, I want to go ahead and get into today's reading. And I actually want to open up today's reading to the collective. I actually want to see the collective reading, the collective energy, because I haven't done a collective reading in so long. So let's go ahead and see what is happening for you guys throughout the rest of May. Okay, so let's go ahead and get into this collective. Let's see, what is it that you're needing to know at this time, mid-May? So for collective spirit, what is the collective energy that is needing to be expressed, talked about? So we have freedom, transition, and balance. We have freedom, transition, and balance. So with balance, freedom, and transition, collective, this really, and I mean truthfully, this really feels like you are wanting your freedom from something. I don't know if you are tied and bound to maybe a financial situation that's not beneficial anymore, whether it's a relationship, a career, whether it's some life circumstance, but you're wanting to be free from this and you're wanting to experience that freedom from this. And you're in the transitional phase, but you haven't gotten that freedom yet to really balance your life out. So it may be your financial circumstance, it's sacrifice. That's what just came to me, sacrifice. What are you willing to sacrifice? Plain and simple. What are you willing to sacrifice for your freedom? We can't have everything at once, and we can't move into a new space while still holding on to the old. It doesn't work that way. Life doesn't work that way. You got to give up something to get something. And what are you willing to give up to get? And this is really asking you, you have to give up something to get your freedom. And I hate to put it as bluntly as that, but there's no other way to slice this. You got to give up something to get your freedom. But this could be in your love relationships, your career, your job, circumstances, as mentioned. But this almost feel like something that is generational because it's habitual. This is a pattern. And I don't know if this is a pattern that either you found yourself in multiple times in this lifetime where you've obtained things or you gotten something or you ended up in something and now you're trapped to it, you're attached to it, whether it's a dead-end relationship, whether it is a dead-end job, whether it is your finances not being where you want them to be. It's like even when we try to make progress, again, it just feels like the same cycle. And if it's not your cycle, this is through your family, whether your family has always dealt with circumstances that are not beneficial to them and being trapped in those circumstances. And because maybe we grow up seeing that, or maybe because that was what we were shown, or even unconsciously, we picked up the same habitual traits and habits as we may have seen from our family. Now, as an adult, we've seen in our lifetime being trapped to certain things that aren't beneficial for us, that we then feel suffocated by, and we want our freedom. And that's what this is. This is pulling you into that. It's like you're wanting your freedom, and through that freedom, you'll find the balance back in your life. You'll find that independence back in your life, where you're not tied and bound, whether it's emotionally, mentally, financially, psychologically, physically, to something. But you gotta sacrifice something to get something. And first, it always starts with the mind. If the mindset is poor in any way, we have to adjust that. Otherwise, we will get back in that cycle. But also, too, circumstantial. Certain things that we end up attaching ourselves to may have not been good for us in the first place, but we may have thought at that time it would have been. Sometimes life happens like that, and that's okay. But then what do? We have to stop the bleeding. We have to stop the bleeding of whatever this attachment is, whether the emotional bleeding, the financial bleeding, the psychological bleeding. It's not going to serve us any good, and it's not going to do us a service. I'm getting also too, like the water, like beach. So I don't know if somebody lives by the water, going to the beach, going to the pool, or wants to maybe even just take a vacation. And that's where I go back to this freedom. It's like you cleansing. That's why that's coming through. It's like the spirit is needing to be cleansed. The soul is needing to be cleansed because it just can't bear it anymore. And it's always better to be able to sleep at night peacefully and safely versus going to sleep with anxious thoughts and dealing with anxiety and stress. Your health is much, much more greater than this circumstance. And again, it takes me back into that sacrifice. Whatever this where you're transitioning out of, your mid-process. So you're not fully out on the other side, but you're getting close to it. You may even be able to see the light on the other end, that, okay, I'm eventually going to be able to breathe. I'm eventually going to be able to have my freedom. I'm eventually going to be able to see the light at the end of the tunnel. So you're holding on to that light because you know that you will end up getting there eventually. And whether that getting there may take you some time and you got to crawl to get there, or some of you may be more in a position where you can run to get to that other side. But whatever has this situation, it no longer serves you. It's past its expiration point. And we can't keep going down that road, because all it's going to do is continue to bleed us dry in all areas, in all facets. And you know this, so I don't want to be redundant upon this. But one thing for certain, two things for sure. Please, and I say this with all in good intentions, protect your energy. Please protect your energy through this transitional phase, because you're in a vulnerable space when you're going through a transition phase like this, because it's never easy, especially when you're having to break the chains of something, the financial chains, the chains that you have to a job, the chains you have to a relationship, the chains you have to a life circumstance. It's never easy, and the spirit can be very vulnerable. And this can set you up not only for spiritual attacks, but also people that are just in your life that can be negative, or a negative influence, or things that you may see in comparison, and that whole inferior complex that may come on because maybe we feel like maybe we made a mistake, or maybe we feel like we should already be where we should already be and we're behind the rest of the crowd. All that's background noise. Don't allow anything that is negative, that is going to upset you, that is going to disrupt the process and the path that you're on, to take you off that path and to disrupt that energy. You need all of your vitality through this process. I promise you. You need it through this process. And it's just be careful, because it just feels like you're a little bit on shaky ground right now. Just a little bit on shaky ground. And it's manageable. It is manageable, but it still feels shaky. I want to look a little bit further. So let's see. What do we have here? We have the Hierophant in the reverse, Nine of Cups in the reverse, Ace of Swords. What else do we have? The Nine of Pentacles, and what's on the bottom? The Devil. Yeah. Underneath that is a Star in reverse. Whatever this attachment that you have, collective, is just going to run you dry. It's going to drain your life force. It's going to continue to drain your life force. It's going to put you in a space, even possibly of pessimism. And all you're going to do is feel bound and gagged by this. And it's not in alignment. And it feels like I'm talking to a person that's already went on they're in the process, or have already went on their spiritual journey. So the internal aspect of you, whether it's, again, emotionally, spiritually, psychologically, mentally. You've evolved. You've already increased, or you're radiating on the inside at a higher frequency, at a higher vibrational state. So you have already done the interior work to really align yourself with the life and the outcomes that you want. But externally, you're still trapped to your old life cycle. You're still trapped to your old life circumstances. And the inside and the outside ain't matching. It's just not matching at all. And I think that even adds more of a weight to a person, just because we know and what we feel on the inside is of much greater and much higher good, but our external is of old and past energy that we had within ourselves. And it does bring you down. It can bring you down. It can make you feel like you got an additional weight on your back, especially when you feel bounded by these circumstances that don't serve you. So I go back to what I said earlier, especially with you being a person that has already aligned yourself internally. What sacrifice externally are you willing to make? And again, you're already on that path and process, but it can go down two different ways. If this is something that is external to you, then we have to look at a strategy or strategies that may be available to us to really start eliminating certain things, or even course correcting ourselves externally to align ourselves closer to that liberation and freedom. Or if it is something internally, whether it is something we don't want to let go of, but we're being bound by it, or something that we do need to let go of, but emotionally or mentally or psychologically, it's hard to break that. The mind is the biggest thing we have that can really help us get to where we need to go. And it all starts with the mind. So you really have to mentally really break those chains and see things as clear as day, as clear as possible as you can. And sometimes we have to put ego and pride to the side. Sometimes we have to pull up our big boy pants, our big woman pants, and say, you know what, F it. What matters to me the most at the end of the day is feeling free and not having to be stressed, not having to deal with anxiety, not having to deal with worry, not having to deal with this weight, and making moves accordingly. And you can, and I see that here. So I'm not telling you to say this just because you're going to stay in this. I'm looking at a person that's on the precipice of being free. You're right there. You're literally right there. Even if that light on the end of that tunnel seems a little bleak, don't give up on yourself. And that's why I say be careful about your energy, because you are right there. And by you continuing to make those moves and making certain sacrifices that you're going to have to make, you're going to get the outcomes that you want and finally feel like I can breathe. I've let that go. I've released that. I'm no longer in that financial situation or dealing with financial worries and woes and debts. I'm no longer dealing with this job that I don't know what to do about, or that I don't want to be in anymore. I'm no longer in this living situation. I'm no longer in that relationship, or I'm no longer feeling confused or bound by these circumstances. I'm finally free. And you're right there. So don't hold yourself back and don't limit yourself. But you do got to break this chain, because it is still attached to you with that devil being in the upright. And you're in progress. So stay in progress and keep going. Don't give up on yourself. And I know you won't. I know you won't. I'm looking literally at you getting that freedom and being liberated. So I am going to let you go. Just know it's a pleasure to read for you. I thank you. I thank you so much. And you have a great day. Bye.